I wish I knew how to quit you, and aren't these just the best words ever and one of the most beautiful love stories? The great love of my life didn't last. In fact, it really didn't even have the opportunity to get started. So it means that I'm kind of a sucker for a great love story, of which this clearly is. I'm now rereading my library and making that call as to which books I'm going to keep and which ones I'm going to let go. And today's book is Brokeback Mountain by Annie Proulx. And yes, I had to Google how to pronounce her surname. I've been saying it wrong for years. Ennis and Jack are two young cowboys in 1963 who were hired one summer to mind the sheep up on Brokeback Mountain. One night they start the love affair that neither of them expected, but would go on to last a lifetime. At first, the relationship is short on words and long on physical connection. The conversation and tenderness comes later. After spending the summer getting closer and closer, they both return to their normal lives where they both get married and start families. 4 years later, they rekindle their much-desired relationship with scattered precious moments a few times a year where they can be open and honest about their love for each other. It was a very different time, especially for men of rural America, where there was very little scope and room to be anything other than society expected of them. There are some beautiful, tragic, heartfelt moments, a yearning for an honest love that might have been possible in a different time. I read this book when it first came out. It's really a short story and I fell in love with it, and then I went and watched the movie when that came out not long after. On reading this book again, I realised I had conflated the movie with the book, and so my memories weren't entirely accurate. I had expected more tenderness and heartfelt declarations that actually were in the movie, but aren't in the book. I still rate the novel and the film as the best love story I've ever seen or read. And of course it contains one of the most memorable lines in cinematic history, which is used repeatedly as a catch-all for a beautiful love. I wish I knew how to quit you. And of course at the movies there's this one particular scene that just makes me cry my eyes out, when Ennis and Jack are reunited and they're kissing behind the shed and Ennis's wife is watching them. That just makes my heart cry every single time I see it. It was so beautiful, so sad, and I was just crying my little eyes out. And the one thing that surprised me about the book and the movie when it first came out was just how much hostility there was from some quarters that I was not at all expecting. Maybe I was just naive and I thought everybody would be the same as me. And I kind of thought that my generation was over that, but clearly that was not the case. So I was a bit disappointed to find that out about some people. It was a slightly more challenging read than I expected, and a lot of that was to do with the fact that I was conflating the book with the movie. The words were sparse, much like men who don't spend a lot of time in company are, so that kind of threw me as well. My tendency is to be a fast reader. The way Annie has written, using her characters' thoughts and actions, and how much this journey meant to them, meant that I also had to slow down, take my time, and savour every single word she wrote, and really understand what it was like for men of that time. And once I got into the headspace of Ennis, who is the main perspective of this book, I really enjoyed it. It was a sad reminder about the fact that Ennis and Jack weren't able to be open about their love. But you could sense that those brief moments they had together made all that time apart bearable while they were just waiting for the next time to be together. And that just tugged at my heartstrings, that feeling of so close yet so far. So is this a stay or a let go? Well, I do have another admission. I actually made a big mistake and I let it go because it got caught up with a bunch of other books and I didn't realise it was gone until I wanted to do this video. So I went out and bought it again, and it's a completely different book from the one I originally had. I originally just had the single short story, but this has got about 10 short stories mixed in with it, which probably tells you everything about how it landed for me the first time, and it's continued to stay that way for me the second time. This is just too wonderful to let go. It is a stay, and you know what? It's my Swedish death cleaning, so I can decide which books I'm going to keep and which ones I'm going to let go. And some books are too important to let go, and I think this falls into that category. And of course, now I've got all these other short stories still to read, and I'm going to go and watch that movie again and enjoy it as much as I did last time. I'm positive about that. And I'll see you next time.